Hey, everybody, welcome into the Betting Pros Prop Bet Cheat Sheet live stream here for the Monday Night Football game between the Rams and the Cardinals. We are here to talk about all of the props that we are going to be considering for this game. And again, there aren't that many that are really all that exciting here for it. But if you would like to comment and talk about anything whatsoever, all you got to do is chat. That's it. I will see all your comments. I will see everything. There's like a 40% chance that I'm just going to completely screw this up in terms of what we're looking for. To be able to chat in the stream, you have to be a subscriber here to the Betting Pros YouTube channel. That's it. Just click the subscribe button. Then you'll be able to comment. I will be able to see it. So what you're looking at right now is our prop bet cheat sheet. What that does is that takes consensus props that are available generally in the market. It takes our consensus projections that we have and it compares it, and it gives you the biggest edge that you have. Now, I am in New Hampshire, as most of you probably know if you have subscribed to this YouTube channel. So what you can do is you can go to New Hampshire odds. That is going to give me the best odds just for my particular location here. But I'm going to go to all locations so we can see the absolute best prop going forward here. So this, again, is something where I don't rely on it blindly. Certainly, this is not necessarily what I do. I do my own projections here that I try to, make sense of and make sure that that's how I drive my fantasy projections. That's how I drive my player props when I do it. But the prop bet cheat sheet is something that is really, really useful. And again, you can find that over at bettingpros.com/prop. So again, I'm just going to walk through a few here that I find to be sort of the most valuable. And what you'll see is a lot of the top ones that are recommended right now are actually the receiving yards prop. You can see the over underline here. I will have my cursor. I hope this is working, by the way, because I am not, this is the first time we're doing it. So I'm giving this a shot here, but this is 58.5 receiving yards for Deandre Hopkins at minus 125. And the projection there is 76.27 receiving yards. So that's something where, again, that's a 17.77 yard difference. That's obviously the biggest edge that our projections see. Odell Beckham Jr., 45.5, 63.16 is the projection. That's very close to also being a very similar edge. AJ Green, 39.5, 52.9 is the projection. That's another edge. And then you also have Rondell Moore. Now, I do want to talk about some of these receiving yards prop because I do think that my projections also give the overs the edge on all of these props. Okay. It doesn't quite give the exact same edge that these have. My projections for DeAndre Hopkins are 66.5. Odell Beckham is 52.5. And we'll talk about AJ Green in a second. One of the reasons why I'm a little worried here about DeAndre Hopkins and why, even though our prop bet cheat sheet is what likes this prop the best, is just because, again, we know how strong the cornerbacks are here for the Rams. And we saw it in the first game where I believe Hopkins was held to 4 for 67. And Hopkins is not a yardage guy anyway. 58.5 is a relatively low total. He hasn't been a yardage guy this entire season anyway, so it doesn't really matter there. But for me, it's something where I don't want to have to be relying on a guy who at this point has not seen the target volume. So I agree with the projections. I have it also. If I'm forced to take a side, I would go over, but I would probably shy away from that being one. Odell Beckham Jr., another one where I think the over is probably the right play, but we haven't really seen him have that game yet here with the Rams where he's really piling on the yardage yet. We still need to see that. I'm actually looking at our third best recommended prop, and I know that that's going to make some people squeamish, okay, because we're like, DeAndre Hopkins, great. I feel comfortable with the over. Odell Beckham Jr., I feel more comfortable with the over. AJ Green, I don't want the over on that one, but AJ Green actually has the best matchup here when you're looking at it. It's something where I think we think of AJ Green, we don't get excited, but he should draw Dante Dion, right? I mean, the great cornerbacks for the Rams, that's not where it is. And that's just where he lines up on the side of the field, that's who he's going to see. Dion is small. Okay. He's a good corner, but he's small. He's like 5'9". He doesn't have the size to be able to match up with Green. And I think what we've seen from Kyler Murray is he's going to go to where the open receiver is. So you're going to see Green out there a lot, and he's going to be the one with the most favorable matchup. The line, the best line anyway that's out there, and certainly the line that's for me, is at DraftKings. It's 39.5. That's something that I also project to go over. They prop bet cheat sheet has them at 52.9. That's a 13.4 yard edge. I'm at 53.4. So I'm right there with the prop bet cheat sheet in terms of what the projections are. And that's one that I have made a play on right now. Now, I haven't listed it necessarily, although you should have the BettingPros app as well. You can, put in your own. You can see yourself on a leaderboard and everything like that just to see where you wind up. But that is something that I feel relatively confident betting. Now, something else here with the prop bet cheat sheet is obviously, just so you know, it will generally list. This is the game that I have listed tonight. There's a drop down menu here where you can list all matchups and see what the best rated props are for the whole thing. There is Atlanta at Carolina. You can see you can go to any matchup you want. You can also go to any stat you want necessarily. And I'm going to put something up here, which is Kyle R., who's here with us. Hello, Kyle, saying, do you see this as a game where Murray scrambles a lot? I do. And that's actually one of my favorite props as well. So I'm glad that you got to. And you can see you can sort here by the various props. And if you look, rushing yards right now. Now, you can see Sony Michel, when I checked earlier, even Sony Michel wasn't out right now. And the books are careful with props, guys. They do not want to put out some of these numbers without knowing who's going to play. Obviously, even Darrell Henderson hadn't even been ruled out. I haven't actually seen if he has been ruled out, but we know he's not going to play because he's on the COVID list. So books have been reluctant to put up Sony Michel props or anything like that. So there is some, they're waiting on Chase Edmonds as well for the James Conner prop. So as of right now, we can't bet that. And hopefully, by the way, we had to do this a little earlier right now on Monday Night Football. Just I have some family obligations. This is when I was able to do it. But hopefully it'll be a little later going forward. But you can see Kyler Murray, 27.5 over under. That's the line that is set by DraftKings. Again, that shows you the best book, by the way. That happens to be my book. 40.03 is the projection. I have it at 39.2. That is also my second favorite prop. So Kyle R., you are right. This is a game where I think Murray scrambles a lot. I believe, I don't have it on me, I think it was 30 in the high 30s, maybe 39 yards in the first game that they played. And that's because they are going to break through. That is what the Rams are going to be able to do. They're going to put some pressure on Murray. And you saw how much he ran last week. He looks fully healthy. This is a game where he is going to scramble a lot. So another one that I like a lot is Kyler Murray over 27.5 rushing yards. That's something where, given the difference in projections, I would feel comfortable betting that up to probably 29.5. Once you get to 30, I know there's an edge, but it's not as much here where I would feel comfortable with it. So that is my second favorite prop. I will say that we'll have somebody, AJ Hill, which I'll put up here. Saying that he's going to match up with Darius Williams, I believe, AJ Green. I actually don't think so, given where AJ Green lines up on the field. That's actually not often going to be him. He's going to actually see a lot of Deion, at least for where he lines up on the field, which is he lines up out right, and Deion basically stays out left for how you're doing it. So I think he will get Deion, and that's why I like Green. But we'll see. And I appreciate Kenneth coming here from Denmark, where it's perfect time here to be looking at props here for him. So let's get to a couple of other ones that we see here. Look, these are, stats like completions. Again, they don't have it up yet because they don't know necessarily. Passing touchdowns. Again, the books just don't have these up yet. Passing yards, though, they do. This is something where people always want to go. And you've got 280.5. You see a slight edge here on the over with our prop bet cheat sheet. That's 292.5. You see Kyler Murray, the slight value on the under, 260 versus 254. You see even the prop bet cheat sheet, when you're talking about passing yards, that's not a significant edge whatsoever. That's not the same as a receiving yards prop or anything like that. So I would go, I would avoid both of those. Actually, I wouldn't like. Let's get up some comments here. People joining us. I love it. Let's talk about Diogo saying rushing attempts at Kyler Murray over 6.5. Let's actually see whether or not what the prop bet cheat sheet has on it. 6.5. So they have him for 7.3. So with Murray, it's hard because they'll probably design 3 or 4 for him. It's really a matter of whether he scrambles. You can see the prop bet cheat sheet does like the over slightly. I too would lean towards the over with it. I wouldn't be rushing out there to bet it though. I mean, quarterback rushing attempts are always something, even with a guy like Murray, which is a little tough. Football Room TV says, do you see Matthew Stafford throwing a pick? First, I would like to see whether or not the interceptions are out there. Over, obviously, for this, both you lean over. That is what it's going to be like. I will rarely have a player quarterback projected for over a pick. If I have to go one way, I probably would go there, but I probably wouldn't go there if I have to do that. How about Chase Davidson. How do you feel about Sony Michel anytime touchdown? I like it. I mean, again, touchdowns are something where, and we don't have that, by the way, listed here for it, but touchdowns are something which are always a little difficult to sort of handicap. But if there was certainly somebody to go after, I do feel that Michel's going to get it. I think he has earned their trust at and around the goal line. And again, what you heard Sean McVay talk about last week is they like his downward running style. Okay. That is something that fits well with him. Nothing against Darrell Henderson, who's been great this whole year, but I have no problem. I don't often bet, full disclosure, I don't often bet anytime touchdowns. Like, they're fun to do, other than, when Gronk was out there or something like that. But I do feel like if you want to get something like that in this game, that is probably a fine bet to do with Sony Michel, because I do expect him to be heavily involved here. So again, the rushing yards here are something that's a little difficult sort of to figure out. Again, you've got that for the rushing attempts, because again, we're at a point right now where we just don't know exactly who's. It's rare that you have this in a Monday night game where you have both backfields, at least as of a minute ago, that we did not know necessarily who was going to be starting up at running back. We still don't know right now. If Chase Edmonds plays, that significantly affects Connor's total. So the books are waiting for the inactives to put it up. For the other receivers, by the way, you'll see this is sorted in declining sort of value as the prop bet cheat sheet looks at it. So this is not something necessarily where you can sort of however you want realistically. But for this, you see Zach Ertz, the prop bet cheat sheet likes the over here at 40.5 to 50.62. Tyler Higbee also leans over. You can see a lot of these are sort of over, other than Van Jefferson, which actually is the only one that's under. Now, look, Cooper Kupp at 93.5. I don't know. I mean, I have him projected like right around there, so I would avoid it. But obviously the prop bet cheat sheet leans a little bit over here with how they see this game going on. Again, these are consensus projections that happen. And Van Jefferson, again, it's the under, but it's 2.5 yards. So it's not something. All right. Chris asks, I like to bet the first quarter money line. Who do you have scoring early? So this is a tough game because I think we have a joke inside here that when we look at Arizona, it's a bit like our kryptonite in terms of of the betting. They're just something that I think kind of breaks our ability to kind of view them correctly. I think what you'll see is that when you see a lot of quote sharp bettors who have models, they usually just get a little off. Okay. All right. Breaking news. The Rams have placed Jalen Ramsey and Tyler Higbee on the reserve COVID-19 list, and they're both out tonight against the Cardinals. Okay, make your bet very quickly. Take some overs on some of the receivers right now. If you're here, if you can get 58.50 on DeAndre Hopkins, I would now take it. AJ Green, again, probably somebody who makes it a little more intriguing as well. I still wouldn't go near Rondell Moore, but even Christian Kirk, I do think that is going to take a lot. Somebody was saying that FanDuel just suspended player props maybe for this game. Perhaps that is why. So we'll see whether or not these are available. I mean, this is the world we live in, right? You got to move as soon as you can. If you can get the player props for the Arizona wide receivers, I would do that. So go and do that. Again, this is the prop bet cheat sheet. You can find that over at bettingpros.com/props. And again, if you go, even if you don't agree, you can see like before this, I probably wasn't going to take. I like the third best recommended one from our recommended one. Of course, Tyler Higbee is now off, but it is something where you can go and you can check it out. And if you guys like this, what I'd like to do is start doing this before all the standalone games. Okay, before the Monday, I'll give out the props that I really like, and I'll give out the props I really like on the Thursday games as well. And again, I give out props as well on Sunday morning with Matt Peralt, and we had a pretty good weekend this weekend. So again, Betting Pros, check everything out there. Again, go to bettingpros.com/props to check this one out, and you can see where that lands. Thanks for popping by, everybody. This was it. I wanted to give you a little tutorial. Again, the ones I like the most now it's probably going to change at this point, but I did like AJ Green over 39.5 receiving yards. And I do like Kyler Murray over 27.5 rushing yards. I think both of those are good. If you're listening, that's my garage door, which is present in every single live stream that I do. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe here to youtube.com/bettingpros. And I will talk to you again on this type of live stream again on Thursday before the Thursday night game.